Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Health and Safety Matters podcast. My name is Mark Sennett. I'm the CEO of Western Business Media, which is the publisher of Health and Safety Matters. And once again, this podcast is kindly sponsored by the Health and Safety event, and that is coming up in just a matter of weeks now. It takes place on the 8th to 10th of April at the NEC in Birmingham. And it's completely free to register. You just go to healthandsafetyevent.com or throw into a search engine Health and Safety Event, up it comes. And if you register for free, you can also have access to the fire safety event, the security event, and the workplace event. It is the UK's biggest exhibition for the health and safety market and completely free to attend. We've got a stand there, so come and see us because we're the lead media partners of the event. As I said, it takes place on the 8th to 10th of April, and you can register for free at healthandsafetyevent.com. Now, as I always say, you don't have to wait for this podcast to get all the latest news, prosecutions, products and services, and much more via our website. So you can just go to hsmsearch.com or throw into a search engine Health and Safety Matters. Up we come. If you go to the website, you could, of course, look at our upcoming and on-demand webinars through there as well on the webinars tab. You can sign up to get our twice-a-week e-newsletter along with 50,000 others of your professional colleagues. You can look at digital archives of all back editions of Health and Safety Matters and the BSIF annual guide, the PP Insights Guide, or you can subscribe to get print or digital copies of any of those publications, all for free, all on hsmsearch.com or throw into a search engine Health and Safety Matters. You can also follow us on X and follow us on LinkedIn. So we do always start with the news, and that is exactly what we're going to do today. And the first news story I've got for you is from the British Safety Industry Federation. So the BSIF have given the latest from non-registered providers of PPE who've not registered to the RSSS scheme, and all of the stats to do with failed tests. Now, if you want to get full details on this story, go to hsmsearch.com, and in the search box on there, if you don't go to the news section, just use the search box and just say PPE from non-registered providers fails tests. So the BSIF has issued an urgent warning to those responsible for procuring PPE and safety products following the results of its latest independent tests. Between December 2023 and December 2024, the BSIF tested 161 products from non-member suppliers. This is to people who are not BSIF members. And this assessed their advertised performance, labelling accuracy, and compliance relevant standards. Alarmingly, only 10%, that's 16 products, met full compliance requirements, while an overwhelming 90%, which is 138 products, failed to meet the necessary criteria, with 7 test results still pending. So failures were identified across all product categories, with some showing particular alarming issues. This included head protection. There was a 100% failure rate there. Eye and face protection and fall protection, 100% failure rate there. Safety footwear, an 86% failure there. Hearing protection, a 90% failure rate there. Safety gloves, a 95% failure rate there. High-vis clothing, an 85% failure rate there. And respiratory protection equipment, an 88% failure there. And for an example, examples of things that went wrong there were filters in these products not adequately protecting against hazardous dust and fumes. Going back to head protection, the products failed resistance from penetration and shock absorption tests. On the eye and face and fall protection, products failed to resist particle impacts, risking severe injuries from foreign objects. And looking at high-vis clothing, many of the garments lacked sufficient brightness and failed chromaticity tests and luminance tests, which rendered them ineffective in low visibility conditions. So the non-member tests results are vastly different from the results of the test conducted on products supplied by BSIF registered safety suppliers. So that's people that have signed up to the BSIF registered safety supplier scheme. And if you sign up to that, people there are committed to only selling certified PPE and trading honestly and ethically. So of the 399 tests completed on products from the RSSS scheme between December 23 and December 24, 86%, that's 322 products, passed. And even for the 14%, the 51 products that initially failed, all of these were promptly addressed and rectified. And we still also have 24 results still pending. So the message here from the BSIF is very clear, and from us too. Only buy PPE from people who are members of the Registered SATRA scheme done by BSIF. As you can see, they test all of these, and if any do fail, they're quickly rectified. So, when you're looking for PPE, make sure you choose one from the Registered SATRA scheme, and it's the only way to ensure that these products are genuinely fit for purpose. So do have a look at that story online, which is called PPE for Non-Registered Providers Fails Tests. Okay, on to our next news story, and this is titled Days Off Due to Ill Health Rockets, research shows. So you can throw that into the search engine on the site. And work-related ill health is costing the UK economy over £415 million a week, according to new analysis published by the TUC. So the analysis of official statistics showing the number of days lost due to health conditions, including stress, depression, and anxiety, has shot up by a third since 2010. In 2023-2024, which is the latest year that statistics are available on this, 34 million working days were lost to work-related ill health, compared to 22 million in 2010. The TUC says the findings, which are published as the Employment Rights Bill returns to Parliament, shows the urgent importance of improving the quality of work in the UK. In 2022-2023, the latest year for which this is available, work-related ill health is estimated to have reduced economic output by £21.6 billion. So the TUC says the rise in days lost to work-related ill health has coincided with a huge boom in insecure work. The union body estimates that over a similar period of 2011 to 2023, the number of people in precarious employment has rocketed by a third to over 4 million. A separate report from the Commission for Healthy Working Lives suggests that poor quality work can harm employee health. The report states most health conditions develop outside of work, but for a significant number of people, work itself is the cause. Persistent insecurity, workplace discrimination, and extreme demands take a serious toll on health, and in some cases, poor quality work is even worse for health than being unemployed. The TUC says driving up employment standards will help improve staff well-being, health, and productivity. This view was actually backed up by a poll last autumn, which TUC conducted, where 3/4 of managers that took part think that strengthened employment rights will improve employee health, compared to just 4% who disagree. And 7 in 10 believe that strengthening employment rights will improve workforce retention, compared to just 6% who did not. And of course, as I said and mentioned in the previous episode of the podcast, the Employers' Rights Bill is heading back to Parliament as we speak. The government's Employers' Rights Bill is back for its report stage. The bill will apparently deliver common sense reforms which will bring the UK closer in line to the European workers' rights, according to TUC. So the TUC General Secretary Paul Nowak says improving the quality of work in Britain is good for workers and our economy. Work-related ill health is costing us hundreds of millions each week. That's billions of pounds down the drain every year. So I would urge you to look at that article in full. Just go to our news pages and HSM search, or throw into the search box on the website, Days Off Due to Ill Health Rockets. Okay. Next story we've got for you is another research report, and it's titled Londoners Impacted by Construction Dust, New Research Shows. 2/3 of Londoners say they've been impacted by dust or light pollution from construction sites over the past year. New research from the Urban Impact Agency, Urban Thinking, shows that 66% of people living in the capital say they've been impacted by at least one of these things once in the last year, with 8% saying they're impacted weekly or more. Inhaling construction dust can obviously be hazardous to your health and has significant health risks, such as helping develop lung cancer, asthma, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Light pollution can contribute to poor mental health, and that obviously raises the likelihood of developing anxiety, stress, or sleeping disorders, and can even increase the risk of obesity and diabetes. So, commenting on this research, Dusan Duvic, the senior manager at Urban Thinking, says construction dust can cause a long list of conditions and diseases, as we've just discussed. and it contains very harmful substances. Dust pollution is a risk to staff on site, and they deserve to work without risking their health, as do residents living nearby. Light pollution is viewed as something that simply ruins our view of the night sky, but actually recent research has shown that it can negatively impact mental health. It's paramount that developers and construction companies work to limit the dust and light from their projects to create and keep staff safe, and also those living nearby, keep them from harm. So offering specialist expertise to developers and large infrastructure projects, Urban Thinking maps and monitors projects' dust and light pollution and devises solutions to ensure all guidelines and best practices are observed. So if you want to find out more information on that, just go to their website, which is www.urbanthinking.com. Okay, our next news story, we are going to focus on fleets prioritising driver well-being, according to new research. So UK fleets are prioritising driver mental health well-being as part of their safety strategies, with 82% reporting formal processing to support drivers after incidents. The findings from a study by Webfleet, which is Bridgestone's fleet management solution, highlights a growing focus on the human aspect of fleet safety. Safety technologies are yielding wider benefits, with 88% of fleets reporting improvements in driver recruitment and retention as a result of adopting tools to help protect the mobile workforce. So a comment here from Webfleet's regional director in the UK for Bridgestone Mobility, which is Beverly Wise, says, driver mental well-being is a critical component of effective safety strategies. Addressing the emotional toll of incident is just as important as leveraging technology to improve safety. By investing in both driver support and innovative safety solutions, fleets can create safer roads and build a more resilient workforce. So this study actually found that driver stress remains a significant concern, with 63% of fleets reporting high or moderate stress levels among drivers. This is more pronounced amongst HGV operators. So these HGV operators said 71% affected, compared to 54% of van operators saw it as a significant concern of driver stress. So almost a third of fleet operators, this research shows, said that distracting driving was leading cause of accidents, and highlighting the need for monitoring and feedback systems to address behavioural risks and help prevent incidents from happening. Safety technology is also supporting fleet training efforts, with more than half, so 52% of fleets, updating driver training programs annually based on safety data insights. So do have a look at this article on the website, and just go into our search engine, fleets prioritise driver wellbeing, research shows. And the final news story is just a reminder, really, that registration is now open for Health and Safety Matters Live, our in-person event, which takes place on the 4th of June 2025 at the Coventry Building Society Arena in Coventry, or to some of you that will be known as the old Rico Arena. We've got a full day of CPD seminar sessions on. It's completely free to attend. We also give you tea and coffee throughout the day, free parking, free Wi-Fi, free lunch. Everything is free. It's a great networking opportunity. It's co-located with a NEBOSH alumni event. So we're going to have over 500 like-minded members of your peers there. So great for networking. But the seminar session, you will get a CPD certificate for attending, is pretty jam-packed. We've got an opening address from Sarah Newton, the chair of the Health and Safety Executive. We've got sessions on AI and health and safety. We know the hype, but what's the ROI? Protecting workers from noise exposure. PPE saves lives. We've got noise and hearing loss in industry from the Health and Safety Executive during that session. We've got wearable tech and AI, how it will transform workplace ergonomic safety. How to create good practice driving for work policy. We've also then got a fantastic session from DSC Beachcroft on latest legal updates, legislation updates to the health and safety sector. And then that goes into another session, which is a health and safety mock trial, which, in my opinion, are the best sessions that we put on, because you there are the audience and you are the jury. So you actually say whether you think it's guilty or not guilty. And the trial itself is actually a replication of a real life prosecution. So you vote whether you think it was guilty or not guilty, and then at the end, the lawyers from GSE Beachcroft will actually tell you what the real life result was, or whether you were correct or not. It's definitely a session that you should not want to miss. But it's not just a conference. We have a fantastic list of exhibitors that are there showing all the latest products and services. We've got key associations like the BSIF there, obviously offering help and guidance, and the Health and Safety Executive are doing the same. But then, we've got other major brands there, such as Blackline Safety. We've got Eco Online, HSI Dunsafe. We've got Havsco. We've got JSP, Kimberly Clark, Minuendo, Moldex, Nebosh, SafeLinks, Resmar, Notify, Stanley. We've got the Safety Knife Company, WL Gore, Throax, and many, many more. So there's over 40 exhibitors. Driving a Better Business is another one that I can think of off the top of my head. Casella, another as well. Clean Workwear, another one I'm thinking of. I'm on a roll now. So it's perfect setting. Everything is free for you. The CPD, the opportunity to meet so many like-minded professionals. Also, on top of your free lunch and free tea and coffee and free parking, you've got all of these organisations either showing the latest product or service or actual direct guidance being offered from these stands, whether it be BSIF or Driving for Better Business or the Health and Safety Executive. So this is an event not to miss. It takes place on the 4th of June 2025 at the Coventry Building Society, and it's called Health and Safety Matters Live, and it's completely free for you to register. Just go to hsmlive.co.uk to register for your place. If you can't remember that, throw into a search engine Health and Safety Matters Live and register for free at the for the Coventry event on the 4th of June. So hsmlive.co.uk for you to sign up. So at this point, we always try and bring a guest onto the podcast, and this time it's really timely. We broke an exclusive last week, which was that the BSIF have now confirmed the new CEO for them has been appointed to replace Alan Murray. Alan is stepping down at the end of this year, but come the summer, his replacement will be in place, and that is none other than John Hooker, the current CEO for SATRA Technology Centre. So John will take over in a few months' time. Alan's going to move into the role of chair as soon as John takes over as CEO. So, breaking the news to us, I actually sat down with Alan Murray earlier today, and he tells us all about how the process happened, what to expect, and what's next for him and the BSIF. Morning, Alan. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. And you?
Yeah, very good. You've got some big news hot off the presses. As we record this, we are about to reveal some big news coming out of the BSIF today. And I believe you've got a new chief executive. Can you tell us a bit more about that, Alan?
Oh, yeah, of course, Mark. So from my point of view, after 11 thoroughly enjoyable years at the Federation, I'm passing the baton on and delighted to pass the baton on to John Hooker. John is currently the Chief Executive of SATRA Technology Centre, and he'll officially take over the role in the summer.
And this has been quite a lengthy process. Obviously, you announced your intent to retire. It was meant to be at the end of last year, but and you gave a big lead time for that as well. This has been a very thorough process, hasn't it, Alan?
I would say so. The directors of the Federation created a recruitment team, and we did a hugely thorough process, at one point involving multiple agencies, over 12 months, really. But I'm thrilled to say, really, that we've got a cracking chief executive, a man of terrific character, quality, pedigree to take over.
Now, obviously, you've applied for this job in the past, got it, done a fantastic job during your tenure, and now you've had a role in being part of the panel for helping choose your successor. Can I ask you, as a former applicant for this role and someone that's now had to put this role out as available, what do you think the draws of running the BSIF is?
Well, I think the mission of BSIF, which is to keep people safe and healthy at work and support the businesses that do that, make PPE respected, valued, and cognizant of the role it plays in safety and health. I think it's very appealing on a broad scale, Mark. People see the opportunity to make a difference, to lead a group in a sector, and it's something of a privilege to do that, and it has been for me. And I think that that is a big part of the appeal. Safety, it's always something to see as a force for good. And the opportunity to drive that forward is a terrific opportunity, and people have seen that, as I've said.
Well, like you, when you assumed the role, John Hooker's got a long tenure in the health and safety sector, and I know that's something that would have appealed to the recruitment panel for sure. But for those that aren't familiar with John, can you tell us a little bit of his background?
Well, his background has involved highly regulated businesses, but since September 2015, I think John has been at SATRA. SATRA are a well-respected notified body, well-respected approved body in PPE and other manufactured goods. So John is familiar with BSIF and familiar with the safety industry. And in fact, SATRA are, of course, a member of BSIF, a long-standing member of BSIF. So John's background is all about team building, membership businesses. SATRA themselves are a membership business. So it was very appealing individually for John, and John is a man that likes to get things done, and I'm sure he'll bring that to BSIF.
Now, this isn't the end of your tenure at the BSIF. Now, although you are retiring, I think, as your friend, I might call that semi-retiring, because I'm not sure you're ready to completely retire and hit the golf course yet. But what is your new role at the BSIF going to be, and what's it going to involve?
So when John takes up the role full-time, we'll have a transition period, and then I will become chairman of the federation. And what will that involve? That will involve obviously making sure the transition goes well to a new chief executive, and we will move into an important phase in our development. And there'll be certain strategic roles that I'll carry out after that. And those have all really got to be determined and distilled over the coming 6 months, I suppose.
So that means, without a shadow of a doubt, you're still going to be part of the annual BSIF Networking Golf Day, doesn't it, Alan?
Well, I hope so. Maybe not with the same stress, but yes, I always look forward to it.
It's a great day. Are you allowed to win it or have the longest drive now that you're not going to be the CEO? Are you still going to ban yourself from it?
I think both the winning and the longest drive are well and truly behind me, but I look forward to competing in it.
Now, I mean, we love supporting that event. Our partnership with BSIF is really important. As you know, it was the first document I ever signed on my first day in this job was a strategic partnership for the BSIF. That was long before I ran this business. I had to draft a press release and everything for you. That was my first day. And then I'm proud to say my first action of when we bought HSM and everything, the management buyout, was to sign a multi-year key strategic partnership with you. So I can't thank you enough for all of your support of us, Alan.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Western Business Media, HSM, the BSIF Guide to Safety Industry, super important to us. You personally have been a great supporter through, no, I wouldn't say thick and thin. We haven't had thick and thin, but we've had some challenges to face. And so I would reflect your compliments, Mark. The relationship's been been just fantastic from our side, that's for sure. And your development of the Safety and Health Excellence Awards and the role that the BSIF Awards plays in that has been incredibly important.
Well, that's a great example, Alan, and grateful for what you said. It's been my pleasure and our pleasure. But I remember when I came to you and said, I've got an idea that I'm going to run past my bosses that, about doing a safety awards. And Alan, you already have the BSIF Awards. I want to give them a platform to have as much prestige as possible. And you listened. You said, "I'll support that." And if you can come up with a platform that really highlights the great things that everyone in the sector does, that really add gravitas to our existing awards, then we'd support it. And that was 7-8 years ago now, Alan. And despite COVID and the problems of COVID, everyone being locked up and having to go digitally, and obviously much more deeper issues than running live events with COVID. Obviously, people sadly dying and all the problems with that. But it gave business problems to us as well at a time when you were swamped with dealing with COVID from a PPE perspective and a federation perspective. But as we looked forward to the Safety and Health Excellence Awards this year, that are in April at the Vox at Resorts World on the middle night of the health and safety event, of which obviously you are a key partner of the BSIF. We've sold out the last 2 years in a row. We're heading for another sellout now of 750 plus people. This is probably everything and more that we ever hoped it would be, isn't it? Considering how now everyone is looking forward to the night every year. We're getting record amount of entries.
Very much so. Two parts of my response to that statement, Mark, really. The Safety and Health Excellence Awards, which incorporate the BSIF Awards, are just a fantastic and almost a unique opportunity to share in the success of the safety industry and have a great night, that is for sure. The second part of my response is really that over the last number of years, we have, between us, not being shy about, in inverted commas, taking chances with things, whether it's the awards or some of the initiatives that we've undertaken at BSIF. And we've not been shy to take those steps. And so far they've delivered. And the Safety and Health Excellence Awards, I am certain, will go from strength to strength. And I think you share that for sure.
I do. And after this year's awards, we'll have some exciting news about how we're going to grow them even further for next year. Chances is something that we have both taken. I'd agree with you on that. We've launched events, awards, pilot schemes that you've done. But in the end, you're right. It's come down to the same thing. The same objective is pushing and promoting the highest standards as possible in the health and safety sector. You've been just on our side, not only speaking at events and webinars. You spoke on our first ever webinar. PPE guides, is now a really big thing for us. Our annual PPE guide, the BSIF guide, is the biggest publication we produce as a business in terms of pagination and a number of contributors to it. And we've kept modifying that as we've gone. We've taken chances, and we're very lucky, including with this podcast. We've got a very loyal audience, a loyal membership in your case. And I would round it off on terms of the chance taking, you're saying that the BSIF is a much larger membership organisation now as a members, isn't it, Alan, than the day you started?
Well, it is. We've 360 odd members, and we're starting the duty holder membership scheme. So we effectively represent the supply chain and the specialist service providers that test and certification for PPE and safety equipment. And we've started to reach out to effectively the end user market. So we're calling it the duty holder membership scheme. So we spend an awful lot of time speaking to duty holders, people who are responsible for their employees at work, and we're just formalising that relationship a little bit more. But if I can give you an example of, we never do these things alone, of collaboration. So We worked hard on our height safety, a great new British standard, BSIF 681. We wanted to do a webinar to educate the market, which is a lot of what we do. We put it to you, and we used the webinar portal that you provide, and we had 1,200 people on that webinar, and that was just January this year. So collaboration is the key, that's for sure, and that's a great example of success.
And I know you've had takeaways from the multiple questions that have come as part of that webinar, and that is what our strategic partnership's about. We want to support the work the BSIF is doing. We want to make sure we can use BSIF's expertise and its members' expertise to help educate our audience, doing their key role of keeping people safe. And just quickly reflecting back on the awards, it's worth me saying we have already sold, as I say, there's 80% of tickets to the Safety and Health Excellence Awards, which incorporate the BSIF Awards. The first 4 categories delivered are always the BSIF Awards, the flagship categories for these awards. So if you do want to come, you better hurry up, because it takes place on the 9th of April 2025 at the Vauxhall Resorts World. Just go onto the website SHE-awards.com and you can buy tickets. It will sell out, so if you want to come, it's the biggest networking evening in the sector. Yeah, Alan's right, it's good fun, but it has a real purpose. Probably the highlight of my job, Alan, is definitely seeing awards dues like this, where we both seen it, haven't we? How much it means to win a BSIF award or win Health and Safety Manager of the Year. It really means something to people, doesn't it?
Without a doubt. You know how important it is. We know how important it is from the point of view of good product, good PPE. We know that our registered safety supplier scheme is vitally important. The work it does in keeping bad PPE off the market, the challenges of online marketplaces, the awards night, whether it's personal or product based, just demonstrates the best of the safety industry.
I mean, I've seen your judging. In fact, I was a judge one year for the BSIF, so I see what level of detail people have to put into these entries. I mean, in your categories, some of them, they have to physically present in front of the judging panel. Real thought and effort goes into this, which is right, because the products, in particular in your side, are life safety critical, and they deserve proper scrutiny and proper celebration and accommodation if they're shortlisted. So do come and join us on the 9th of April at the Vauxhall Resorts World. You can get your tickets while they last at she-awards.com. That will be Alan's last official awards as Chief Executive, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to try and make him come back regularly in his role as Chair. But finishing on that, as one person we haven't mentioned during this, obviously you're stepping into the role of Chair. John Gill is obviously currently the Executive Chair, and he's going to be stepping down from that role, and you're going to be, as I said, assuming it. Is there any thoughts, comments you want to talk about John and the great contribution he's made to the Federation?
Thanks for the opportunity, Mark. Yeah, John's had a great career in the safety industry, and that was preceded by an equally outstanding career in the pharmaceutical and healthcare side. John worked for Raycal. John was managing director there pre its acquisition by 3M, and then John became managing director of UVEX, which he served for many years. He, I think, he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was chairman of BSIF for some 9 years. He led us through our strategic review in 2016, which pretty much set the path that we're currently on, with a few tinkers along the way, but John was absolutely instrumental in that. So professionally and personally, I would like to thank John for his contribution to the Federation and to his great support for me in doing this job.
Well, this is far from goodbye for you. Obviously, you remain full-time with the BSIF until the end of the year, and you'll assume your new role when John comes in as well. Obviously can't thank you enough for your efforts, but we will get you back to do a proper exit interview, and we're obviously looking forward to bringing John on. But I think we'll just end on this. When you do start to head towards retirement, anything outside of work you're looking forward to doing now you've finally got some time in your hand? Because honestly, Alan, the last few years, I think you've been as busy as you've ever been.
I think that might just be in the DNA, I'm looking forward to playing golf. I'm looking forward to maybe a bit more time in the sunshine, and we'll see how that materialises. But I am looking forward to passing it on to someone, give me a bit of time, not just to look out the window, but just to take a breath, really, Mark, frankly. But I look forward to playing golf, that's for sure. Health and fitness. I'm assuming some health and fitness there. That's never guaranteed, of course. But with a fair wind, I'll look forward to the golf, the gym, and a little bit of lack of pressure, probably.
Well, we wish you all the best with that. I'm looking forward to working with you in your new role, and very much looking forward to working with John. So, Alan, thank you for sharing the news with us first. As always, we really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks, Mark.
And that's all we've got time for in this edition of the Health and Safety Matters podcast. My thanks to our guest in this episode, Alan Murray. And as I said, we wish Alan all the best with his new role as the chair of the BSIF and effectively moving towards a retirement, and by the sound of things, a bit more work on his golf. I've seen his golf, and actually, to be fair, he doesn't need a whole lot of work on it. He's a very good golfer. So, as I said, that is all we've got time for this episode of the podcast. Thank you to the Health and Safety event for once again being the sponsor of this podcast. You can attend the Health and Safety event on the 8th to 10th of April 2025 at the NEC in Birmingham, completely free to attend. Go to healthandsafetyevent.com, and if you register to attend for free, you can also access the fire safety event, the security event, and the workplace event, which is all co-located between the 8th to the 10th of April. We will see you there because we're the lead media partner and have a stand for health and safety matters, as do our other publications, Fire Safety Matters, Security Matters, Professional Security Installer. We are all over the event as the lead media partners, so please do come and see us and chat to us and give us your views and feedback on the podcast. Now, as I always say, you don't need to wait for this podcast to come out to get all the latest news, prosecutions, industry analysis, and products and services. You can go to our website, hsmsearch.com, or through the search engine Health and Safety Matters. That will come. You can also go on there and sign up to any of our upcoming or past webinars, the webinars tab. Sign up to get copies of our twice-a-week newsletter, or look at the digital archive of all of our past editions of Health and Safety Matters, BSIF Guide and PPE Insights Guide, or indeed sign up to get free or print or digital copies of those in future. All available there on hsmsearch.com. Now, you can also follow us on X or follow us on LinkedIn. Just search Health and Safety Matters and up we come. But thank you again for joining us on this edition of the podcast, and I will see you next time on the next episode of the Health and Safety Matters podcast.